told you that you could save over $1,000 this homeschool year. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are going into we are in our 9th year of homeschooling, and today I want to talk with you about homeschooling on a budget. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. So the $1,000 figure is definitely going to be based on your various homeschool needs and numbers and tallies, and really it's just a big, nice round number to get your attention. One of the things that I am very, very, very passionate about is that cost is never a barrier to homeschooling or a barrier to high quality educational materials and results. It is one of the things that I am incredibly passionate about. Now, if you've been here for any period of time, you know that I have what absolutely is a luxury. I have the privilege of being able to prioritize value in my homeschool decisions and purchases. But there are some people who need to prioritize cost. If you don't know, I think it was like a year and a half ago or so, maybe coming up on 2 years, I did a series on high quality, get your kids into college, completely free homeschool resources. And I did 3 of them. I did one on elementary level, I think I chose 3rd grade, one on middle school level, I think it was 6th grade, and one on high school level. I want to say I chose 9th grade. But the moral of the story is I built a complete catalog of every subject that your student would need to take for a year out of free, easily accessible, high quality resources. So if you want to find that, I'm going to link that playlist right up here. I'm gonna do my best to remember to put it down in the description box as well, specifically that playlist. I never, ever, never, ever, ever, ever want cost to be the reason that somebody can't homeschool. The cost of the actual homeschool materials, I understand that there's a lot of other stuff that factors into that, cost of living, being able to afford a reduced or single income family situation. I understand that there's a lot more that goes into that, and I don't mean to minimize any of that. But what I do want to do today is give you a few tips that can help you maximize your homeschool budget. And it is all of it, every bit of it is things that we do. Okay. And like I said, my focus is always on prioritizing the value. So getting the most out of what we are spending. So let's jump right in, and I will give you my top 5 tips on stretching a homeschool budget, which if you have any questions about our homeschool budget, I share our real life numbers every single year. I try to do it at the beginning when I am spending, and then at the end to let you know what I did spend. If you are curious about that, I will also try to remember to link that somewhere up here in the corner so that you can get a look at my actual numbers and what I'm spending. I explain how we get our budget, how we do all of that with real actual dollars and cents numbers, because I think that's really helpful and not enough people actually share that information. So anyways, the whole reason you're here, let's start with our 5 tips to maximize your homeschool budget, okay? Number 1 is I want you to master the free resource game. What am I talking about? I am talking about, like I said, those really high quality resources. Just a few off the top of my head that I can name easily. Core knowledge. They have almost everything. It is secular, it is free, it is available, and it is not talked about enough. I maybe need to do a deep dive on that one. I see a lot of other things recommended that I'm not familiar with personally, so I'm not endorsing or saying do or don't, like easy peasy, things like that. Again, not familiar with that myself. Core knowledge, very familiar with. So core knowledge, Khan Academy, big history project, which has middle school and high school resources, not to mention AP prep. Same thing with Khan Academy, which pretty soon I'm going to do a video on SAT and ACT prep resources, hopefully most of which are free or low cost. So that's coming soon. Master your free resources. And I am talking libraries. I'm talking utilizing the Hoopla app. You guys know, if you were paying attention or were a viewer a few years ago, we did The Story of Us, or Story of US. And it's like 1 million books. And I bought them all. And then I found that they were available through the Hoopla app to use for free from our local library in audio format. Game changer for me. Absolute game changer. So if you can't find what you want in a particular format, check the other formats because it can be really handy. So use library partnerships, interlibrary loans, and free online curriculum like crash courses are available online. You can find almost anything you want online. There's also OpenStax, which is, again, I haven't used it personally, but it is like full textbooks available online. If you look hard enough, you can find it. Okay, if you want something specific, have no shame. There is no shame in this game. Find the Instagram post that goes along with this video or scroll right on down to the comments here. I am in search of free whatever, geography. I am in search of free whatever. Someone here will help you. And I know that because guess what? This community is strong. This community is thriving, and this community understands that cost should never be a barrier to a high quality homeschool education for any child, but especially our children, okay? So scroll on down. If you need to phone a friend, put it in the comments and we will find you the answer, okay? We will find you an answer. All right, tip number 2, buy used and sell smart. Now, this is something that is a really big deal, and it comes up for me a lot with Michael Clay Thompson. I actually have somebody here who is now sharing on YouTube herself, Carrie, who she is now my, like, you hear the kids, you hear them, they're coming. She is now my kind of first go-to, which has really been great for somebody who purchases my used homeschool curriculum. So something that comes up a lot is Michael Clay Thompson has, one, it is very costly, but it does have a very high resale value. There are other places you can go. We have a whole chain here in the Houston area called Half Price Books. So go to discounted bookstores. We have the Homeschool bookstore, which will have like a resale section where you can look for those things. Something that you can do is get onto Facebook and join. There are like Matthew C. buy, sell, trade groups. Search out the ways to reuse that. So go and you can purchase used, absolutely. And you can go and sell what you have, or Facebook Marketplace, places like that, curriculum swaps, homeschool co-op swaps. A lot of them will have days where you can just bring your stuff and get that going so that you do have access to a lower upfront cost, or you can make a little change back. Something that I love, even if it's not something that, even if I spent a lot of money on it, something that gives me a lot of joy is knowing that it finds a new home, keeping it out of a dumpster, keeping it out of a landfill. So if I can pass something along that's just going to have a second life, for me, that increases the value and the money I spent, but also just makes me really happy to know that it is going on to make another homeschool learner happy as well. So go out and join some of those buy, sell, trade groups. Look for, a homeschool, buy, sell, trade, homeschool in, Birmingham, Alabama. Look for those kinds of groups specifically on Facebook, and you should be able to get some really good deals there. Okay, now, something that I am a huge fan of, a huge proponent of, is embracing multi-level teaching. So what that means for me is that when I can, I combine. So for example, this year we have spent quite a chunk of change on our Lego science curriculum, but I am using it for my 8th grader and for my 4th grader. We are combining. Last year, we used a completely free resource, which was the American Chemistry Society's middle school chemistry. We use that together. Again, we are maximizing our value by getting all of our learners grouped into one. Saves time, saves energy, saves effort, saves money. Okay, so that is a really big deal. So master those multi-level resources. And even if it is something that you're like, oh, but that's for 6th grade. So what? Lump them together. We did big history project as a family as well. Anything I can do together, I am doing together. One, for sanity, which is huge, but then also for cost savings and time savings and energy. It just is really good to be able to combine when you can. A lot of people go into this thinking that, for 4th grade, everything has to be tailored to your 4th grader, and for, 8th grade, everything has to be tailored to your 8th grader. And that's just not the case. So I have a lot of videos on using multi-level resources. So if you have any more questions about that, let me know. But you can find a lot of those answers here as far as how we combine things and why we combine things. Yeah, so the easiest thing to do there is to just pick a subject that you can teach all of your kids. History, real easy to teach all together. Science, real easy to teach all together. Any kind of art, any kind of unit lesson, anything like that, get them together, kids. Tip number 4 is DIY your way to savings. There is no reason that we have to make everything that we do hard. There is no way that we have to make everything that we do an official curriculum. There is no reason to work that much harder. You can get a set of watercolors and some paper and then just find some free YouTube videos to allow your kids to practice their art skills, okay? You can master fractions by baking together in the kitchen. Do not be scared to piece things together. You find a book you like, make yourself a little unit study on that. There is no reason that you cannot, with a little effort, you don't have to have all the knowledge. I'm not asking you to know everything. I am learning right alongside my children. But if you put a little effort into your research and gathering those resources, you can absolutely DIY your way to anything that you want your family to learn. So do not be scared to do that, okay? It really is really important. Now let's talk about tip number 5, which is maximizing value by saving money first. Now, how are we doing that? We are reusing resources. I have an entire shelf dedicated in my home to the things that my oldest is done using and my youngest is yet to use. You can reuse a lot of things. You guys know, as a huge fan of the All About Reading program, All About Spelling program, and it comes with a lot of like cutouts and things like that. You can cut them out, and I have seen people do this. I did not do it because I did not find the value in doing it, but if your primary concern is those saving that money, then you can. And I've seen people do it. They will put it in page protectors. So every activity with a cutout, which is every day, goes in a page protector and then it's ready for the next kiddo. And that is a really great way also to maximize your resale value on that. If I can give you an entire completed curriculum that we have maintained to a level that it is reusable, that is fantastic. That's a great thing. People are wanting that, okay? So if I pay $30 and I can resell it for $10 or $15, you're making that money back. You're increasing your value and you're keeping it out of a landfill, which I feel very passionate about. Something else that is a really easy way to contribute to your cost savings, for us, we sign up for a group learning class at Houston Museum of Natural Science. And it is not inexpensive. When you think about it, takes like, I think there's 25 kids max in a class. Each class is like $2,000 for the year. And it gets us 9 one-hour classes a year, 1 a month for the school year, starting in September and ending in May. And the kids get to go. And it is multi-level, so they're combined. And what they do is they get a lesson, and then they get a hands-on experiment of some kind. Now, this comes in cost savings. When you've divided that cost among those 25 kids, I am paying less than $10 a class for each of my children to get hands-on experience with experiments, with scientists and historians, with supplies I do not have to pay for, not to mention socialization as well as entrance into the museum for the children in the class and a caregiver. So it is an incredible value and cost savings. And looking ahead, my intent is to do this with our dissection labs so that I do not have to source what are they dissecting these days? Like a rabbit and a rat and a jelly? I don't even know. I don't even know what they're dissecting these days. But when I am able to, and the cost for that one is a little more, but if I am able to keep the cost $100 or less on the year, about, $10, $15 per kid to do hands-on guided dissection labs to qualify for those high school credits, that to me is gold. So the first thing you do, and it's the first thing you should ever do, budgeting and saving money, is figure out how to spend less. How are we spending less? We are keeping that curriculum in pristine condition so we can reuse it for the next kid, which personal experience this year, Michael Clay Thompson is a very large curriculum. It has 15 books in a level, and the cost is hundreds of dollars for just your language arts. I was able to look over the books that I had used with my older child to see what was consumed that needed to be replaced for my younger child. And I only had to order about 3 books for her. That cost savings was absolutely huge. So it went from hundreds of dollars for a whole level to under $100 to be able to use that with my next kid, which if you then divide that out over the 2 kids, much more reasonable cost because we have increased that value. So I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. If you are in search of a resource, if you need something specific, put it down in the comments. We'll help you find it. If you are in Nome, Alaska, and you want to find that buy, sell, trade, homeschool, swap kind of marketplace, and you need an access to that, put your location, tell us what you need access to down in the comments. We will find it for you. This community is one that believes in lifting each other up. This community is one that believes in increasing the value. And this community is one that is going to help you because we recognize that it helps all of us when one of us does better. And we're going to do that for you. So if you want that, let's start here in the comments. Full disclosure, I have dreams of creating a space for this network, somewhere on a corner of the internet where we can more easily swap, chat, support, mentor, and guide each other through these homeschool years because I think it's wonderful. I think it's invaluable. And I wish there were more people who had been willing to just reach out that hand in my early years. So I never want cost to be a barrier to your homeschool, okay? So if you need that, look for the answers here. Ask them here. This is a safe space. And until next time, bye.